Password?
Like a turd in the wind.
Hey,
Oh,
wait, thank you.
buy the cheap shit again. It tastes like this.
Hey, man, you can't drink
Look at these two fucking ass clowns walking in like they own the place.
Doing a show here.
Goddamn millennials.
Welcome back to the Yancy St Speakeasy, episode number 21. I'm Max.
And I'm Tracey.
And this is episode number 21, and I'm Max.
And I'm Tracey.
Good. God, I just wanted to say it twice, just in case somebody missed it the first time.
Okay, I'm glad you. That's why you're in charge of the tech stuff, because man, you're just always getting my goat and
I'm so responsible.
keeping shit tight in that technological section of this podcast, because I'm not the tech of this podcast. I am the heart. I'm the soul. I'm the liver and the kidneys, the kidney beans, delicious kidney beans. And he's the little hermit that hides in the corner and uploads everything while I like flip him off and eat Cheetos or something.
Yeah, that's why I'm skinny, because you don't feed me Cheetos.
Well, it's funny, though. Actually, I started the keto diet just to see how that would go, because I've heard enough good things about. I've heard like mixed things about it, but I heard enough good things that I figured I'd give it a shot. So I'm doing that high protein, high fat, low carb, low sugar thing. So I actually haven't eaten. I don't think I've eaten carbs or sugar since I got back from Key West.
I pity you.
I do. I miss bread really bad.
I eat so much bread. But yeah, so I wouldn't call them. I think I've said before, I'm not a tech expert. I'm not someone who sits down in front of something and just knows exactly what they're doing all the time. But I can kind of figure it out as I go. So it's not that I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, and it's not that I know exactly what I'm doing. It just takes me a little bit of time to figure it all out. So.
So you basically saying that he has infinitely more patience than when it comes to technology. I know enough to control Alt Delete, and that's about it.
Okay, so today we are going to be talking about specifically for our main topic, the Marvel Netflix series. Every season that's come out so far, we're going to try and do a quick little brief rundown, but first we're gonna plug ourselves.
Go ahead.
We're really tight. We're a tight show. So
we have the tightest show in the industry, baby.
So we a tight plug is necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I would only trust the tightest of buttholes on this show, and baby, we got them. What you want, baby, we got it. Max, tell them about maxdean.org at maxdean.org.
Okay. Maxdean.org is a website that you can find at www.maxdean.org.
What?
And if you want to find maxdean.org, you can go ahead and type in maxdean.org and it'll take you right there.
That it will. And you'll see all of our previous uploads, some cool original art by yours truly, and just updates, occasional updates on our creative ventures.
Yeah, so you will find every episode of the Yancy St Speakeasy available there for streaming, and you will find lots of original artwork that Tracey has done for both projects that we're working on together and stuff that he's just done. Just as a general waste of time, you know,
for
like
funsies.
When he feels like doing something that's no use to anybody.
When I hate
that
myself,
sometimes gets on there.
When I hate myself in my life and what I'm doing, I just pick up a pen and I just draw out the pain.
And if you also want to see some more wastes of Tracey's and the world's time, you can go to Tracey's Instagram.
Dick. All right. Yeah, I do have an Instagram. Viva La Frank. Capital VIVA, and then LAFRANC, and then the E in France is replaced by a 3. So Viva La Frank with a 3. And there I pretty much, I'm sure it confuses all my Facebook friends because it's directly linked to my actual Facebook account. But I don't post anything personal besides like my art. It's literally just a place to show off my art and also some random pictures I've taken of Max's cats.
He slides some dick pics in there too, but they often go unnoticed.
You have to dig for them. I make them a challenge. Papa's dick ain't coming to nobody easy. I hate the words that just came out of my mouth. Anyway,
I was gonna say.
Oh shit. Yeah. So just to recap, check out our stuff because we're cool and you're cool. And cool people like birds of a feather flock together, you know?
I want to do a quick shout out to. So we've gone worldwide. The Yancy St Speakeasy is officially being downloaded in multiple countries besides the U.S. We've got a few more states in there, and we also have we had Romania before, but that was just my wife when she was abroad anyway. So that's not super exciting, but. But I mean, it's cool that she listened. But I expected that.
It was to be expected.
But we have listeners in Sweden. We have listeners in the UK.
What?
Yeah, for real. And we had one download in Colombia as well. I don't know. I feel like Colombia must have been like a mistake. You know what I mean?
I wonder if that was my friend. I wonder. Okay, I might know who the Colombian one is. Continue.
There might be others as well. But that is for sure what I was just looking at today. So cool. Thank you guys for listening abroad. Appreciate that.
As an individual, I have a huge fan base in Colombia. Like I haven't put anything out prior to this podcast. They just know about me. It's weird. I don't understand it. Please stop sending mail to my house, and I love you guys.
Well, so we want to thank you guys. We also have some listeners in Arizona, some Massachusetts, a few places that we haven't before. There might be another one or two mixed in there as well. But yeah, thanks for. Actually, it seems like some of them kind of discovered us during our hiatus, which I hadn't realized before we started recording again. But awesome. So I hope they're still with us, even though we were gone for a little while.
I was a little nervous during that 2-month period that we would just take a nosedive in terms of downloads.
Our immense fanship might jump overboard.
Listen, I need something to help me sleep at night. So I'm just going to imagine that we have avid Yancy St fans out there because that makes me feel good about myself. And as I stare at my childhood bedroom and look at a paper mache lizard mask that I made in 3rd grade and a stuffed tiger that I used to sleep with when I was younger.
They are the 2 biggest fans of the Yancy St Speakeasy.
I think they are. I think they actually might have contributed. Well, you know what? It might also be the devil's work because when you sent me the update, it was exactly 666 downloads.
It was. So we might be right fucked.
So Satan, you're dope as hell.
Yeah. If you're our biggest fan, then we'll take it. So there was one other thing that I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. So, and if you guys want to get in contact with us for anything to do with the show, you can email us at maxwelldean@maxdean.org. So if you want to send us a letter that you want us to read aloud on the show, we will totally do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say, no matter what it says, I will read the words.
Yeah, well, he's already shown at his new trivia nights that he'll read pretty much anything in his dulcet tones. So,
so yes, if you want me to read something aloud, I will read it.
Tell him what you did a dramatic reading of.
I will. I'll get there, Tracy.
Oh well, you're taking too long.
But yeah, if you have any questions for the Speakeasy hosts, you can send that as well. If you have any requests for us to do a review of something specific, and if you just want to say something that you don't want us to acknowledge at all, you can do that as well. But, whatever. I don't know why you'd want to do that. I would want to be recognized. So, yeah, so what Tracy's talking about is, I think I forgot to mention in the last episode that one of the new things that I've been doing is hosting bar trivia, which I had done before, but had not done for quite a while. And now I've started to back up again. It's because I need to be listened to, and I didn't have Tracy to do it. So now I just force a room full of people to listen to me while they eat and drink. So I don't even let them enjoy that. I'm like, no, pay attention to me until you leave.
God bless them. God bless them, everyone.
Sometimes they don't even finish their food. They just run out the door and just leave $100 bills on the table, so they can't wait for change. They're like, oh, I got to get out of here.
You just start speaking, and like they just slump in their seats.
Well, I did give one guy a stroke the other day. That was good.
Wait, what?
No, I'm just. That's.
I was waiting for a very interesting follow-up story.
No, it was just a joke.
Or potentially tragic follow-up story. I mean, but sometimes can things be tragic and interesting?
Yes, they can, and they can also be funny and tragic, and funny and interesting. But it's really hard to get funny and tragic and interesting at the same time.
Yeah,
but I bet we could do it.
You have to give it time. So, like, if I punched you in the nuts, it would be tragic for you, but funny for me immediately. And then given time, you'll be like, remember that time that we were having the debate about the funny tragic thing, and then you just punched me in the nuts out of nowhere, and now I hate you. So anyway,
now
we're going to be talking.
I can't have a second child anymore. So my child is a lonely only child. Oh, and that's
they're going to be so entitled. Because isn't that a thing? Like, sorry if we have any single, like, if we have any only child listeners out there, but is the only child syndrome, right? Isn't it like you're supposed to be super selfish if you're an only child?
Well, let's ask the listeners. If you are an only child, are you extremely selfish? Let us know.
Send it to maxteen.org at maxteen.org. So
right,
today
so we need to move on to some news, I think, because
maybe.
I think we need to start the news segment of our podcast right now. Go.
Here's in sports. How about them Yankees? The Washington Redskins still have a sort of racist name. That's cool. Anyway, back to you.
Okay, so first off, we're going to talk a little bit about some future MCU Netflix stuff. So it has been officially confirmed that Daredevil Season 3 will come out this year. It'll be in 2018 sometime, so probably November or December. Probably, I'm thinking November, but we'll see. It has been confirmed that Bullseye is going to be a main antagonist for Daredevil. They are going to be following the Born Again storyline, at least to some degree. It's going to be the inspiration for most of the storyline, and Kingpin will be back in action. We're going to get a heavy dose of Vincent D'Onofrio.
That's awesome. I'm kind of hoping that they scale back a little bit on the hand and all that good stuff. I'm hoping the Defenders put most of that to rest, or if even they were continuing, they're planning like follow up plots to that or subplots or whatever. Because I think we need to contain. Like we need to damage control and just contain and like get the characters operating without some sort of that weird supernatural shadow group.
We need to get a little bit less handsy.
That was a good one. Give you full fucking marks for that.
I think that Daredevil is going to be hands free. Man, I'm just on fire. Jesus Christ.
Our viewership is going to plummet. Anyway.
But I actually have a feeling that we're going to be seeing some fist to hand combat in Iron Fist Season 2, which will be premiering on. Man, I'm just killing it with the hand puns.
I love that you're like congratulating yourself after every single one.
Man, it's like I can't even get through a sentence because I'm just so impressed with myself.
If we tell the audience we're funny often enough, they'll believe it. Maybe.
Well, man, it's just that's what commercials are. Like everyone knows McDonald's is unhealthy, but if you have enough McCafe commercials, you're gonna get people coming for those salads. Like it's just the way it works.
Exactly. We're gonna make our audience our consumer whores, and they're just gonna have to deal with it.
They've made me a wealthy man already. So,
goddamn. Wealthy with friendship. Anyway,
I think that I think we are going to see the Hand in Iron Fist season 2 because in the little promo that we saw, the brief trailer, we did see. Damn, I forgot her name. What's Harold's daughter's name again?
Oh, I don't know. Jeez.
She's not that interesting of a character, but I did see her seeming to be in charge of some kind of ninja training facility, and I believe that Davos was there. But yeah, it honestly looks pretty badass. So it just is going to depend on how the execution is, but they definitely have me in terms of interest. So I will be watching at least the first episode or two the opening night.
I really hope they can pull it back from there. I'm still not crazy on their casting choice for Iron Fist, although I think we mentioned it seemed between Iron Fist and the Defenders he got some acting lessons. But it's just it was such a mess of a season that first season, and I'm finding myself like I can't remember anybody's names. You said Harold and names, and I was like, I don't know, dude. I did remember Davos, but only because Davos is a much more interesting character in Game of Thrones, so that kind of stuck in my head, and I've never heard that name anywhere else. But I think it would be cool to kind of see like brothers in arms going at each other. If they could reel it in, get some fucking focus in that show. Davos would make a pretty awesome foil for him because their personalities are so very different, and he obviously has a lot of anger issues over the fact that he's not the one that slayed the dragon or got chosen to slay the dragon.
Well, it's always fun to watch two people who were friends go at it because it inevitably is more interesting than two people who don't know each other or two people who already hated each other to fight. You know, if there's a backstory of friendship and betrayal and angst, that gives it a little bit more spice.
Yeah. I like the spice. I like the spice of angst. Do you think they're gonna
zesty?
Do you think Davos is gonna join up with the Hand, or is like there's some sort of common ground with their ideology that's gonna happen, or do you think after the events of the Defenders that the Hand is gonna be kind of out of commission for a while? They've like run back in their hidey holes, but they're trying to like move on to more like stealthy ventures or whatever.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the 5 fingers of the Hand are all dead, if I remember correctly, right? I think every one of them died. So that means that all the members of the Hand that weren't specifically in the what's it called, the financial building that went down on Daredevil and Elektra, all of the members of the Hand that weren't there, they currently are leaderless. So I mean, I assume some disband. I assume that some try to form a sect, but Davos is. I think that basically what it looked like to me is that Davos got the power of an Iron Fist, or got, I don't know, maybe there's more than one dragon. Like maybe Shao Lao is not the. I don't really know much about Iron Fist in terms of the comics. He's not a character that I ever really spent a lot of time delving into the backstory of. So
as far as I know, there is only the one eternal dragon. Although I feel free to correct me. Email us, please. But I think it would be interesting if Davos were to. If he were to get some sort of supernatural abilities himself through darker means, he gets seduced by the dark side and whatever, or he gathers up the remaining members of the Hand and becomes their new leader, and they form a discount version of the Hand called the Foot, and they make lots of "don't tread on me" jokes, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, look, honestly, I'll be totally straight with you. I wouldn't even be upset with the crossover if they just introduced the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I would just be all for it. I'd be like, fuck,
at this point,
yes.
yeah, anything to spice it up. And honestly, like the TMNT is. Although, I need to send you a link. They've had several really awesome reboots of TMNT. They had like a CG live, or they had a CG show going on, and now they're doing like a traditional animation TV show for the Ninja Turtles.
Nothing is ever going to be the Jim Henson created puppets. I mean, that is the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is forever going to be the best, hands down. No question.
Go Ninja, go.
No. Oh wait, yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a turtle get down? Yeah, that's.
Yeah, it's fucking Vanilla Ice.
No. Wait, no. That's the second one. That's The Secret of the Ooze.
What? I don't know about that.
No, look, okay. I'm telling you, Tracy. What kind of wager would you care to make that I'm saying that Vanilla Ice was in the soundtrack for not just the soundtrack, but he was actually in.
I just looked it up. I literally typed "Go Ninja, Go" into Google, and it brought me straight to the fucking Ninja Rap by Vanilla Ice, and it was like, "Yep, it was Secret of the Ooze." I'm sorry.
Bow to my TMNT knowledge.
Although I will say that I believe in that rap, it states that Raphael is the leader of the Ninja Turtles, which is completely wrong. It's Leonardo.
Yeah, I think there was something like that. There was a, what was the song at the end of the first one? There was another, it was like another kind of hip artist of the time.
Was it Queen?
It was not Queen.
Was it Buddy Holly? Chubby Checker? Do you even know who I'm listing?
Yes, I do, and it was not Richie Valens either.
Damn. Well, it's probably Sir Duke with Stevie Wonder. That would be a very appropriate ending to it.
No, it was actually a song written for the movie, just like the Ninja Rap. It was It was how does it go?
I gotta admit, I've never seen the Jim Henson movies.
You what?
No.
Oh,
I just know
God.
that there was controversy because of the well, and I know the Ninja Rap, because who doesn't know the Ninja Rap?
Jesus Christ, Tracy, you don't even know what a childhood is until you've watched these movies.
I do. I know what a childhood is. I had one. I read Harry Potter.
In theory, you might think you know, but honestly, you have no fucking idea. Damn.
You're being really hurtful right now. Anyway,
but no, we definitely need to watch that ASAP. I think that is one of the things we have to watch when you're in Key West. It is such a quintessential part of my childhood. That is one of the movies, the first one especially, that is one of the movies I've seen probably 100 times or so, maybe more.
Only.
But so in Jim Henson, the first one was the only one that Jim Henson was involved in, if I'm not mistaken. I think the later ones were different, but the first one is the best still, anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of comic book movies, fuck. All right,
yeah.
So let's try and we'll jump ahead because this is running long.
We think we're very funny.
Well, we are, but that's not what the people come for. They come for cold, hard facts, reviews, ice cold delivery.
Like, we're the world's most refreshing facts. We're the Coors Light of facts.
We are brewed in the Rockies.
Oh God, I hate that beer. Sorry, Coors, please give us money.
What kind of beer are you drinking tonight, Tracy? We didn't do this last week.
I said I was going to drink beer, but then I went downstairs and I got really sad because I'm on keto and I can't have beer because it's basically liquid bread.
So are you drinking? You can't drink anything.
The only beers I can have are Busch Light and Bud Light because
what about Ultra?
In Mick Ultra, yeah. As long as I keep my daily carb count to like under 15 grams or something like that.
Just ask your dad to pee in a bottle and just give it to you. It's like the same thing.
That's vile, and I'm gonna do it. No, I made a gin and tonic with diet tonic water, because turns out regular tonic water has like an insane amount of sugar in it, and I was always like feeling like really high and mighty for myself. I was like, I'm drinking a gin and tonic. I'm making a healthy choice. And no, it's very sugary.
Wow, gin and diet tonic. What have you become?
Just hopefully a more fit individual.
So I am drinking a Reef Donkey, which is, for those of you who live in Florida, you probably know it's an American Pale Ale by the Tampa Bay Brewing Company. It is delicious, 7% alcohol, and everything that's good in the world, unlike a gin and diet tonic.
That's I feel attacked. And also, I'm very fucking jealous of you right now, because I have had Reef Donkey. I enjoy that beer, and fuck you. So we're going to talk about Venom, comic book movies. Was that where you were heading with all this?
Yeah.
Before you made fun of my diet.
Yeah. That was where I was heading, but I just couldn't miss the opportunity.
It's shitty too, because like I'm still in the portion of the diet where you have insane carb cravings. So I just walk down. I like go into Sheets to get like coffee in the morning, and I'm just like, oh my god, there's a lot of candy.
You just walk down the street on your way to work, looking at all the donut places.
Yeah, just like
hearing the Charlie Brown. Do you listen to the Charlie Brown song in your earphones while you walk?
Yeah, no, I just I find like a bakery window, and I just like put my face up to it, but I know that I have to keep going.
You look at the window and masturbate through your pocket like Borat?
It's more like I lick the window and then continue to lick it in a continuous streak down it as I keep walking down the street, leaving
so there's
a
horizontal lick
there's just like a little
across.
Yeah, there's a little Tracey snail trail leaving behind. It's all of my heart and my desire, because I'm such a foodie, and I miss cake and ice cream and French fries because I can't have potatoes because they're a starch and I got carbs in them.
All right, so we've gone a half an hour in, and we barely started the news portion, so we really have to do that.
Whatever. People even listen to us for the news.
Okay, so Venom looks interesting. I'm definitely gonna go see it as soon as I can.
Yeah.
I was really hesitant. Now I really want it to be in the MCU.
Looks
but
great.
It kind of looks like they want it to be as well. It kind of looks like they realize. I mean, from what I'm hearing, it seems like they know that people they'll go to see it, but they know that people will only review it positively if it's connected to the MCU. So there is, in fact, a tidbit of news out, Tracy, that I don't know if you've heard, but do you know the character Fish from Luke Cage?
Rings a bell.
He's the skinny one with the goatee. That's always like Luke's little conscience.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So do you remember how in Luke Cage season 2 he goes off to San Francisco?
Yeah.
Well, you know how Venom takes place in San Francisco?
I did not go on.
Well, Venom takes place in San Francisco, and turns out they have just hired the actor who plays Fish for an undisclosed role in Venom.
Oh. Are you shitting all over my dick right now? Because that would be amazing.
Well, if you like shit on your dick, then guess I am.
You're my man. How much do I owe you? Anyway, but yeah, I was really skeptical at first. I was like, I love Tom Hardy, so I figured that was kind of probably be like one of the only thing. I figured they were going to do one of those things where he would be in it, and he's a big name actor, and he's going to do the movie and spend like 99% of the movie as himself. But unless the all of the action scenes that we see in the commercials are the entirety of the action scenes in the movie, which in that case I will be disappointed. It seems like it's not just going to be like the Eddie Brock syndrome that Spider-Man 3 had, where he had to show his face every 3 seconds, and we're actually going to see some legit comic book action.
Did you see the new trailer?
where he's fighting. He's fighting that one. Oh, what's it called? Riot.
The other symbiote, Riot. Yeah. Okay. So you have I mean, hell, even if all the symbiote scenes that we saw in the trailer is everything that's in the movie, that's still a lot. Because I mean, it's not going to be 10 seconds. There's a lot of symbiote. There's a lot of Venom.
Venom. I loved it. I loved that. I loved that trailer. That trailer got me rock hard, dude. Then he said the word turd, and it made me happy.
Yeah. Like a turd rolling in the wind.
It was so good because that's Venom. Venom's like
neither of those sounded anything like Venom, but that's okay.
No, I mean like in more recent years, Venom's a little bit like he has his like Jokerish tendencies.
No, I just meant my impressions. Both of my impressions sucked.
No, he's got a sick sense of humor and like a little sadistic streak in him, and I think that's fantastic.
I think it's cool. It looks good. It looks to me like we're gonna get Eddie Brock as a distinct character. We're gonna get the symbiote as a distinct character, and then I feel like we're gonna get a combination of those two as the character we have going forward, which I think is gonna be really cool to watch. Honestly, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, that scene where it kind of detaches from him and forms like a separate head to chat with him. I actually loved that because I love that. I want to see that sort of duality in it. Although I hope that they do a little something more to spruce up Riot's look, because right now that boss fight's going to look like a gray blob fighting a darker gray blob.
I think, I hope that it'll be good, especially when we get to see it on a movie theater-sized screen. But anyway, so let's talk about a little bit about what you're bringing to the news.
Yeah, I'm just over the moon about the fact that Insomniac has taken it upon themselves to make a very true to the comics.
Okay, so that's Tracy's part of the news, and now we're going to move on to the main topic.
Excuse me, I had a thing. Just that Insomniac decided to make this passion project out of the Spider-Man game because they have a pretty stellar track record playing. I'm a huge fan of Insomniac from ages back. Ratchet and Clank, they did the Resistance games, they did Sunset Overdrive. They understand game mechanics, they understand story, character development. Their graphics are always fun and sharp, and from all the images I've seen, all the gameplay is looking great. Their animations are on point. Spider-Man feels like Spider-Man. He's a older, more experienced Spider-Man. We're not rehashing the same origin story a million times over, although we're definitely going to have to hear him say the responsibility line at some point. But I mean, everything about the game, it's gorgeous. They lovingly recreated Manhattan and New York City, and it's oozing personality. They've got, if you go down to the street, or you can find like rooftop parties, and when you're hanging around people, the punch button turns into a wave, or give people finger guns, or high five, or take a selfie with them. It's great. It's got all sorts of like I said, the web slinging. It's the web is attached to buildings. It's going to be fun. We got all those amazing physics to kind of mess with to get the sense of Spider-Man momentum. And I know a lot of people are saying that, oh, well, the combat's just like a carbon copy of Arkham, the Arkham games. I'm like, is that a bad thing? Because that was one of my favorite parts of the Batman Arkham games, was that free flow combat was incredible. And from everything I've seen about it, it looks like it's going to be dope as hell. He is experienced. He's got lots of gadgets. Like they're focusing on Spider-Man, and also Peter Parker, the nephew, Peter Parker, the boyfriend, Peter Parker, the scientist. And we're even going to get some sections we're going to get to play as Mary Jane. Miles Morales has made an appearance.
We're going to get to play as Mary Jane?
Yes, we're going to get to play as Mary Jane. They said that they're going to be they're ditching her typical actress role, and they're making her so Peter Parker is not working for the Bugle. He is straight up a scientist. He's like an aspiring biochemist or something like that, and they are making Mary Jane a investigative reporter, And so she's like constantly butting her nose in where it doesn't belong, trying to get the next big scoop. So she's always going in on Mr. Negative and Wilson Fisk's schemes. So there are going to be sections where you get to sleuth around as her. And I think that'll be a really interesting way to break up the gameplay, because you feel all this power and freedom of Spider-Man, and I think that a sudden lack of all of that ability, and suddenly you're just a regular non-superpowered person having to sneak around a building full of baddies with your camera and some pluck. But I'm ecstatic about everything I've seen so far. I'm trying to actively keep my expectations low, just in case like that off chance that it's not as good as what I'm expecting. But I mean, they're building that rogues gallery. We're getting Silver Sable. We've already seen a boss fight with Wilson Fisk, which looks beautiful. It takes place over, like, it starts in his office, and then he goes behind bulletproof glass, and then he tackles Spider-Man, like blowing out a wall. And so basically he's just gonna like demolish his own building. Like with the fight with Spider-Man, he takes on the Shocker, and then we've already seen what seems to be a version of the Sinister Six forming up. We know Norman Osborn is going to be in there, and then just from like little stuff that I've seen fans take clips of, we're going to have I believe we're going to have the Fantastic Four's Tower, the Avengers Tower,
the Baxter Building. Avengers
the
Tower.
Thank you, Baxter Building, the Avengers Tower, the Sanctum Sanctorum is going to be in the building. I have no idea if they're going to expand the universe outside the Spideyverse at all. I'm very interested to see if Miles Morales is going to be playing a bigger part. This is an entirely new universe that they've created. Like it has some parallels with the rest of the Spider-Man comic lines and everything, but they've created their like own entire thing, because typically Miles Morales is only came about because of the Spideyverse, and so he was an alternate from an alternate reality who got stuck in Spider-Man's and vice versa.
Right, we've got to move on. We have to.
Oh, dude.
I'm running out of time for real life things as well. So,
gotcha.
Okay, so that
can I say one last thing? There's one last thing. There's the Spider-Punk suit, which allows you to play a guitar solo that has an area effect sound wave attack. Anyway, move on.
Okay, I just got distracted by a cat peeing.
Oh, that's cool. Which one?
Thomas. He's really not good at it, so he sits in the litter box and then he pees outside of the litter box because he can't really aim very well.
Oh, poor Thomas.
I think that's just what happened right now.
Yeah.
I really don't feel like dealing with it, but I don't really want to have like cat pee sit into my floor.
Our audience is riveted by cat pee talk.
Yeah. Yup.
Love it.
I'm sure.
Oh, man. And
everywhere. I hate you so much.
No, Thomas is
he's an
cutie.
outdoor cat, but he prefers to pee inside because he's too lazy to go outdoors. Damn it.
Little baby.
All right. Well, so much for moving on at a good pace. Why don't you go ahead and talk about Spider-Man game a little bit more so I can clean up the cat urine.
Hey, you know what?
Me.
It would be my absolute pleasure. Yeah, so we're going to... there's some pre-order bonuses. I was mentioning...
Happy.
What's that?
So that's the worst part about it. I don't want to make you happy.
So we're gonna see a bunch of suits, and it's interesting because instead of just having like the suits be just reskins of the same character, it seems like each suit is gonna have its own thing. We're gonna have the Iron Spider suit from Avengers: Infinity War, and a Velocity suit. I don't know what the special abilities are with the Iron Spider suit is, but I believe this Velocity suit will have web slinging bonuses, like they give you speed boost and everything like that. The Spider-Punk costume, which comes complete with a guitar that you can perform sonic wave attacks with. And I think they just announced the Spider-Man Noir suit, along with some others. And I believe we are getting some DLC later on because Black Cat is going to be in the game. And and I guess you're going to have a play as a Black Cat thing. But yeah, just the game looks polished as hell. You're going to be able to use the environment for all sorts of things. It seems like they've created thousands of individual animations for different scenarios that Spider-Man's going to have traversing the city. This is a proper AAA Spider-Man game, and Max is cleaning up cat pee, and I'm just so happy right now.
Yeah, my life's awesome.
And there are no microtransactions, so take that, all others.
Yeah,
and
fuck
like,
microtransactions.
Because, yeah, seriously. Like, they actually said that in an interview. They said right after they decided that the webs were going to attach to the buildings, they were like, and also no microtransactions. And so, yeah, Spider-Man earlier, I can't remember, was it the end of last month or the early this month, Spider-Man went gold, so it's basically done. The game's done, so anything they do to it now is just marketing and just, like, touch-ups.
Just in pre-orders it went gold, you mean?
No, it went gold as in, I believe when a game goes gold, it's done. It's just ready to ship, like, then, which was, I believe...
I'm not a video game person. I don't know what these things mean.
I believe that was a big deal because they didn't think it was going to go gold until later in August. But yeah, so it's going to be coming out on September 7th. It's a global release.
The same day as Iron Fist.
Yeah, global release date. And so I know what I'm going to be doing that day is playing the hell out of that. I'm going to like lock myself in a room and come out just like pale skinned and like bloody eyes, like bloodshot eyes.
So just like you win it.
Anyway, so what's the rest of the podcast going to be?
Probably more of me being mean to you, honestly.
Well, it's okay because you're big swinging dick. So, like, what else do I expect?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I got a mean streak and a big dick, and I just gotta let it go.
And I love all of that about you. It is the main reason. I saw him first thing. It was like, this dude's got a mean streak and a big swinging dick that's going to work out fine.
So the main topic that we're gonna cover is which I feel like shit. I don't even know if we're gonna. Yeah, we may have to do
the two-parter.
You know, it can all be released as one, but we may have to come back later because I made some commitments that I may not be able to.
All right.
I may not be able to honor if I keep talking too long. But yeah, so what we're going to talk about is Marvel Netflix. We're going to kind of do. We can't do a plot summation for every season because there's at how many now? There's 6, 7, 8. There are 9 seasons, so I think a plot summation for each one would just be overkill. But we can definitely talk about which ones were our favorites and what we liked and disliked about them. So.
Yeah, I agree. We'll do some highlights and some big picture stuff, and then I kind of want to. I've kind of been wanting to talk about this on the show is just to analyze the feasibility of Netflix's 13 hour long episode plan and the innate flaws with that if you don't have enough content.
What I have heard is that Iron Fist season 2 is only 10 episodes.
Oh, interesting. All right, that's a step in the right direction. And not to say that I don't love me some episodes.
What would be a farther step? 0 episodes? One episode?
It's just a 5-minute clip of him just standing there, like, trying to masturbate with his iron fist. And then that's the end.
Oh, Jesus.
Man, we're professionals. Remember when we were patting ourselves on the back at the end of the last podcast, and we were like, man, we didn't make as many gay sex jokes that time.
Yeah.
And now
we're so many less dick jokes. We beat the amount of dick jokes from last episode in the first 5 minutes of recording today. I think.
I mean, pretty much.
I just had to make up for it. You know, I think. I think we just have to resign ourselves to that we're a dick joke filled podcast because if we try and hold it back in one, it's going to just come back tenfold in the next one. I mean, We may just post a picture of dicks for the next episode, just still to make up for last time.
Yeah, man, you can't hide what's inside. If you try to do that, it'll just manifest itself as something ugly later in life. And I don't want to like have to go door to door and tell people that I like whipped my dick out in public. So I'll just talk. You
don't want to have to go door to door and
flash
and tell them that you're a molestor.
I'm a molestor. No, man. I'm just going to talk about it hypothetically on the show.
Molestor.
Such a not sexy word that you're trying to make sexy right now.
Yeah. Estoy molestor.
Estoy. I mean, so like estoy is like a temporary state of being, and like and soy I think is like more permanent. Like that's a permanent character trait. So maybe it's like soy molestor, or are you only occasionally a molester?
No mas molestor.
No more molester. Just Lester the molester. That's me. Just kidding.
Okay.
What's happening? End the podcast before I be more stupid.
So the first season that we got, and I know we've talked a bit about it in the past, but Daredevil season 1 was the make or break. I think that if Daredevil season 1 wasn't excellent, then probably both I and a lot of other people would not really be into the Marvel Netflix stuff. But
yeah,
they kind of just, it's kind of like Iron Man was so good that they were able to build off of it, and if it sucked, it just would have gone nowhere. And
right.
Daredevil season 1, I'm not going to say it was as good as Iron Man per se, but it was definitely entranced me and left me very excited for what was going to come next. And at the time, I had no idea. I was preoccupied with some of the other things in life, so I didn't know that they had an entire Netflix universe they were going to expand. It popped up on Netflix that Daredevil was on there, and I was confused for a hot second. I was like, is this the Daredevil from with Ben
Affleck?
Yeah, is this the Daredevil with the guy who plays Batman now? But so I checked it out, and I was like, damn, this is good. And I watched it all really fast, and I was all about it. So
yeah, that show was fantastic. I mean, it had great drama, fantastic villain in Wilson Fisk. They nailed him. They absolutely nailed him. Some of the best fight scenes I think I've ever seen. Like some of the best like practical effect fight scenes. And the characters had a lot of gravitas. The Matt Murdock was a really interesting, sympathetic character, and you kind of bounced around with him and figured out. I think the show still suffered for a couple of episodes, for short periods of time from like what I just call Netflix fatigue, where it's you've created this story and you're trying to stretch it out so there will be padding, because it's just, I think it's just the way that they buy episodes, and they end up they
bought 13 episodes each for the first few seasons, so they already paid for it. So if they didn't actually produce them, it was literally just a waste. So I mean, I get it, but I think that they kind of realized that was a mistake, and so obviously they only bought 10 episodes of Iron Fist season 2. Now I don't know if they bought more of the other series because Iron Fist did the worst, but it also could just be that they bought only 10 episodes each going forward. Yeah,
that's, I mean, we don't have to rehash. We've rehashed Iron Fist plenty of times. I thought it was a poopy show. It was painful to get through. There was like a couple parts where I was like, woo. And then the rest of the show, I wanted to scratch my eyes out. It was incredibly boring, big letdown. The Iron Fist's character was a wussy wuss, and he's all over the place.
We're jumping ahead. We're jumping like 4 seasons ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess Jessica Jones next.
Yeah, Jessica Jones was the next one, which also
phenomenal.
I absolutely loved.
Phenomenal.
I think that I think that, anytime you have a really killer, you have a good, really interesting hero to watch, but you also have a killer villain. That's kind of what makes it. And I think that if you go forward, if you actually look at each of the Marvel Netflix series, each season along the way, you can really see that when there is a compelling hero and a compelling villain, that is when the shows thrive and really do their best. And so for season 1 of Daredevil, Wilson Fisk he starts off he's a big dude. He seems interesting, but the beginning you're just being introduced to Daredevil, so you don't necessarily need the villain right away. But then there's a little slowness in the middle, and then as Vincent D'Onofrio just really, really digs into that portrayal, it just gets so good. I mean, eventually the series is more interesting because of him than even Daredevil. I'll be honest. It's just fantastic. And with Jessica Jones, you really see the same thing. You don't get too much David Tennant right up front. So you kind of meet Kirsten Ritter's Jessica Jones. You see what her life is like, who she is. And then you're like, I get a ton of David Tennant, and it's really, really great. The Purple Man is
absolutely excellent.
Is a terrifying villain because he is terrifying. Like he's menacing. He's really sinister. He's got this weird mentality, like mind of a child sort of thing, because he's never ever had anybody to tell him no before, and it's just Kristen Ritter and David Tennant, when they're on screen together, alone or in a group, it's electrifying. I say that completely unironically. They're fantastic together. I've never seen David Tennant play a bad guy before, and I was so scared of him. I've seen him do it a little bit, but this was my favorite by far.
It was, his performance as the Purple Man is like second to none. That's why Jessica Jones, the first season, Jessica Jones is, I think probably besides Game of Thrones, my favorite season of television ever.
I don't know if I could say that, but I definitely have a lot of good things to say about it. I mean,
it took a lot of risks too. Like it created a hero with like serious flaws, and it went over stuff like dark topics like sexuality and rape and assault and post-traumatic stress disorder, which just the way that it kind of married everything together from her like traumatizing experiences with the Purple Man. It's been done before, but it was done really well here.
So then after that was Daredevil season 2, and I think again you kind of see the same thing. You have a compelling lead character, but the first half of that series was so excellent with the Punisher. I mean, it doesn't matter that they end up becoming, they end up kind of becoming friends in a way. I don't know if friends is the right word, but maybe
frenemies.
Yeah, I guess frenemies is the right way to say it, but just the fact that he's sort of the main antagonist, like you don't see them they are antagonists to each other as they begin, and it's the intro to that second season, is really great, man. When he kills everyone in the Irish gang there, and you don't really know how it happened. Like it really is super well done, and then it devolves into the Hand, and there's no clear villain there. You know what I mean? It's like the romance with Elektra is kind of interesting, but it's like if that's what you're gonna do, then just don't even do the Hand. Just only do Elektra.
Oh yeah, that's the show lost so much focus in that regard. It had more than enough going. Dig deeper into the relationship with Elektra. Dig deeper into the Punisher. The moment they put Punisher like behind bars, and then I was so happy to see Kingpin reappear.
Yeah, that was great. The interactions between Wilson Fisk and Frank Castle were great, and honestly, I was intrigued by Elektra. I mean, I know that some people don't love that character, but I really did. I liked their relationship. I liked how they went into the backstory. I mean, I thought it was cool. I thought it was interesting, and what I didn't like was that it ended up getting convoluted and I mean, I don't know, like make Elektra the villain, and you know, she can be in charge of the hand. Like, she should already, I don't know, like, she should have come back already being in charge of the hand.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like that's what it should have been. And then I don't know, because it just, with all the other characters that he faced, he had to go against Madame Gao, and then he had to go against Nobu, and then he had to go, you know, it just was, Madame Gao was interesting, but I never saw her. I saw her as mysterious, but I never saw her as like a villain capable of leading, and they never really let her. There just was too much going on, but I think in it you can see that it suffered without having a compelling villain or a compelling antagonist for the second half of the show.
Right. Well, they created a spoopy shadow organization with some pretty charismatic figureheads and an army of ninjas and stuff like that, because they were obviously from the get-go they were setting up like what would eventually become the Defenders, because like, are they just going to have it be a giant gang war? But that'd be too simple. And I do the hand was interesting, but I think it was simply mishandled, and that's really all you have to say about it. I don't know whether they didn't really know. They tried to shoehorn it in without really knowing how they were going to come around later, or they just were kind of like crippled under the weight of their own ambition when
I think
adding.
That's what it was. I think they had a pretty solid idea of how they wanted it to go. I think they just were like, yeah, and this, and yeah, and this, and then all of a sudden they realized that it was too much, you know, and you couldn't, even with 13 episodes, you know, you end up putting. To get it, you know, boring can be because there's nothing going on, or because there's too much going on. Boring can happen either way. It's not lack of events. It can be that because you have so many things you need to accomplish that every single scene is too. It just happens because it needs to get to the next thing, so that the next thing can happen, so that the next thing can happen. Like
I'm sure I could go on some Marvel fanboy site and I could find an extensive, like, blow by blow chronological list of why it's absolutely important that this thing happened, that the hand did, and why all these things are relevant, and and you know, if the surrounding subject matter had been like more interesting, I would delve into that stuff, because I love that kind of thing. If it takes away from the storytelling,
then just simplify it. Just just tell the story well.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, make it KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, and show don't tell. There is a lot.
Don't make out. I don't want to see you make out. Just a quick kiss. That's all I need.
Just a quick kiss. Just a little smooch.
I don't want to see tongue action.
But I mean, sometimes tongue action is nice. You know, just like a little massage for the appendage. You know.
God. All right. You know, so moving on. Luke Cage season 1.
Very good.
And again, you can really see compelling hero. Yes, awesome. Mike Coulter, great job.
Yep.
But then you have an amazing, compelling antagonist for the first half, but then you kill him off. And so I think his name is Mustafa Shakir, and his portrayal of Cottonmouth is really, really interesting, really compelling. And honestly, I don't have a problem with you killing off that character. I mean, it's a little disappointing because he's so fun to watch, but you can only kill off a character if you have. If you can only kill off that interesting of a character if you have someone who's more enticing after that, and they just didn't. There was no one else that could live up to that, and so it just died.
Nope. I completely agree. Was it? Cottonmouth. Cottonmouth was the one that followed up, right? Or was that Diamondback?
Diamondback was the second one. Diamondback was his half brother.
Yeah. I mean, he had like some. It would be better if they had reversed the roles, honestly. Even though that's not really Diamondback's more of like a crazy guy, like that. That's what he was playing. I'm playing a crazy guy. Like, you really pissed me off in the past. I thought like shoehorning it in that they were brothers was a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they were probably brothers in the comics. Again, the Power Man and Iron Fist characters were never, and Jessica Jones for that matter, were never ones that I was really, really into. I did like Daredevil, and I liked the Punisher, but of the other Marvel Netflix, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist were never characters that I really got into. Like, I was aware that they existed, but I wasn't a fan, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. It started off with a bang and kind of went out with a whimper. The fight at the finale of that show was kind of lame, and I was really sad because it's a great show. And they had a great.
And, the first half was so cool. I know that cool is a word that sometimes people don't like, and it's not clear necessarily, but it was very, very cool. Mm-hmm. It was stylish, it was sexy, it was smooth, it was really cool.
That soundtrack was just oozing with like personality. That is a TV soundtrack that I would happily like make a playlist of and just kind of like listen while I was driving somewhere or just chilling. Like it's great, it's sexy.
And it just couldn't live up to it in the second half, but
no.
So, but then moving forward, that takes us to Iron Fist, probably the most shat on season, which is understandable because if you look at it, you neither had a compelling protagonist, you didn't have a compelling antagonist for the entire series. And
there was nobody compelling in there except for
the love interest.
Yeah, the love interests. They were the only ones that were like really. They were interesting. What's God? I can't. The nurse that like in every single series.
Yeah, the one played by Rosario Dawson. Her name.
Yeah, I love her. Why can't I remember her character's name? Anyway, she was probably the most interesting part for me because she like I could like almost see through her performance. She was like, yeah, I'll try to keep this together as best I can. Let's get this over with.
Yeah, she wasn't working with the best. I mean, even the writing for her was weird. I think I've said that before. The writing, because we talked about it when you watched it for the first time. The writing for every character in that whole show is weird.
It felt like they had like the Spark Notes version of all of the series and all of the characters, and they were like, "All right, guys, let's put something together."
Yeah, it was weird. It was a hard swing and a miss, which is something that you really weren't expecting. I mean, every series so far up to this point had high points and low points, and it was kind of just like, I don't know what happened, but they kind of thought that they just couldn't possibly mess up, but it was like really bad. It was not good. I mean, in the way that in much the way that all of the MCU movies are enjoyable, but you just can you can rank them if you really want because some are just so spectacular. That's kind of what you're looking at for the first 4 series in the Marvel Netflix. They're all good. Some have things you can pick that you don't like about it, but this one was really not good. And I only got through it because I was a completist. So honestly.
Yeah. Same. I only did it for you so I could like talk to you about it later. I was like flopped over the couch. I was like watching it upside down on your couch while you were gone at work and just be like, "Oh, I have to watch another one." And that's a shitty thing. Like, I love binging stuff on Netflix. Like, you shouldn't have to be like, only 5 more to go, only 4 more. Yeah, just counting down. It was sad. And listen, I've never directed a TV show. Who am I to talk? But man, I can tell you how I felt.
We know what we like, and I don't think that I think that it would be silly to lie and say that popular culture and public reviews and sort of the public sentiment didn't affect a little bit of our review. I mean, probably wouldn't shit on it so much if everybody that I knew didn't also shit on it. You know, I'd probably say, oh, I don't like it that much. But, you know, I mean, you can feel you can sense and feel and understand the public opinion. And if every single person kind of feels the same irritation and disappointment with it, like, you know what? We can say that it sucked. You know, we don't have to necessarily have produced something similar to be able to voice our opinion, I think.
Yeah. All right. So then after that was the Defenders, right?
Yeah, which honestly, it
very up and down for me.
Yeah, it had a hard time taking everything that had happened and condensing it together. But I will be honest, the character moments were good, and that's really what it's all about. So the
fight
story,
scenes are, plot was
stellar, but with only 8 episodes, that's okay because you can really try and focus on the character interactions, the character beats.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Good action, good character moments. Very fun to watch. Not a lot of flash and little substance, but you know, that's sometimes I'm fine with that. Like I enjoyed watching them interact with each other. I enjoyed the Defenders assemble moments, and the budding friendship between Luke Cage and Iron Fist was nice. I came to enjoy Iron Fist's acting abilities and character a little bit more. He was still
you know, look, I mean, let's
holding
be honest
everybody
with ourselves.
back.
These guys aren't. No one who's in these shows are the worst actors ever. But any actor can only do so much because they have to work with what they're given. You know, like if you're acting and you're really good, if you're given a poor script with poor story, like what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? There's only so. If the words you're saying you're aware are stupid, then you know what I mean? It's like you can say them and you can act them so that you feel like it's... That's the thing about it. It's like if you see an actor and you don't believe that he's the character, you look at him as the actor, that's really where the actor has gone wrong. But if you're looking at that actor and you still believe he's the character, but you just don't like the character, then it's not his fault, you know, because it's the writer's responsibility to make a character that the people will enjoy, to make a character that the people will relate to.
Right. I don't know. I feel bad for ragging on aspects of it so much because I do enjoy them, and the reason that we're talking about it all is because we are obsessed and watching with them, but watching all of them pretty religiously. But you know, it comes to that point where like sometimes we're fanboy snobs, and that's what happens. You know,
that's what we do.
But I will say, like, even as like a regular, like a non-Marvel consumer, my parents don't really care about superheroes as much as, like, not nearly as much as I do, but like a regular amount. And they love Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and they skipped over Iron Fist completely after like 2 episodes. They're like, I don't feel like watching this. And I'm like, I don't blame you.
So at the end of the Defenders, it looks like Matt Murdock is dead. It looks like Elektra is dead. And all of the leaders of the Hand are dead. Yep.
I'm sure they're all going to stay dead.
Well, every single one of them should probably never reappear. I think we can agree on that.
Mm-hmm. Ever.
So let's just go ahead and move on. So,
yeah.
So the next series that we saw was The Punisher.
Right.
Which I really liked, honestly. And it didn't have as compelling a villain, per se, as some of the others. but it really had a lot of outstanding supporting cast members.
Yeah, it had, and we saw a lot of familiar faces pop up during the time, but it was just it was kind of a breath of fresh air from the rest of the shows that were getting embroiled in the some more sci-fi fantasy stuff, and this one brought it back. I can't talk. It brought it back to like a screeching halt to reality. It was very dark, very gritty. It was brutal. It was kind of nice to have a guy who's an anti-hero, who's not constantly like, oh, should I kill people? What am I going to be? And he just like, he does his thing, and he does it well with brutal efficiency.
Go on.
I think
I think I'm
piss off. Who's the actor that plays him? What's his name?
John Bernthal.
Yeah, he's just grade A plus on the pick there.
Yeah, I thought he was a great Punisher, and I really liked the guy who played Micro as well. I think one of the reasons that they were able to escape without having a really super exciting villain, and maybe some people disagree. I didn't think Jigsaw was. I liked him. wasn't blown away by the character, wasn't blown away by the performance, but I really liked Micro a lot, and the fact that they kind of weren't necessarily antagonists, but that the interplay between them made for a really interesting first half, and there were other really interesting characters. Like, I mean, I always liked Karen Page. I've really liked her pretty much in every season that she's been in, and I really liked, I forget his name, but the guy who hosts the meetings for the veterans. I thought he was really interesting.
I can't remember.
Many of the veterans were interesting as well. I thought that there was so much good stuff in there, and many of the important characters were so interesting that, and especially with the Punisher, he's a character that really does a lot of damage to himself, and so you don't see it. He's not like the good side of a good and a bad story arc. He's in the middle, and that if he's in the middle, if you have a character who's not the good guy, then you don't need a character who's the bad guy. If you have a character who's in the middle, you can have other intriguing characters who, you don't have to take that guy and make another guy who's so bad that you side with the guy who's in the middle. You take that guy in the middle and you make him so interesting and compelling that you understand him. I think they did a nice job, honestly. I really did like that series.
Well, his character is like kind of he's got he's twistedly relatable, because everybody thinks about that. It's like, oh my god, just kill that guy. Like, you ever have those moments when you're watching TV and like the bad guy's being bad and he's monologuing and you just like, just pull out a gun and shoot him in the face. And like, that is Punisher's character. He's interesting. He's flawed. He's relatable for all those reasons. You don't have to create other interesting characters for him to bounce off of. His character itself is interesting enough that you can just put him in mundane situations and watch him bounce off them, and it'll continue to be interesting.
And I really liked how they made him. You believe he's a family man. It's hard to take a guy like him and make it seem like he could also be a family man. A lot of times you're like. They did a nice job of saying, look, when you're in the military, you do these things that you don't necessarily agree with, and then you come back and you still do your best to be a good person. I'm not. Whatever your belief system, all I can say personally is that they made it extremely interesting, and I was all in all the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's interesting when you add in on top of everything else, to kind of have like a bit of a unreliable narrator mechanic in there to keep things twisted and interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know, just a great show. Like, really solid. And it's amazing because it like stands out. It was kind of, we were talking about Ant-Man like not even being part of the MCU. This one could not be. If this one wasn't part of the rest of the street level heroes, I'd be totally fine with that. It doesn't need them.
I feel like, yeah, that's true. I feel like Ant-Man is... It's interesting to compare because Ant-Man could be completely separate. If they had only made the movie Ant-Man and left it completely separate and it wasn't part of anything else, I would have enjoyed it in the same way that it like the Green Hornet was a funny movie, you know? But once you've taken that character and put him into the rest of the world, it's hard for me to enjoy so much that character without the rest of them, because I don't know, it's hard to explain, but he is a character that's so light that it's just hard to take it seriously. I mean, I know it's supposed to be funny, but it's hard to take it seriously when... I don't know how to explain exactly what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that Ant-Man could have been a one-off, but the fact that it's part of the larger universe makes me need him to be the comic relief to something more serious. But you need the rest of the MCU to kind of validate him being there and show some like purpose for him being there. Yes, exactly. And then for the Punisher, it's very much the opposite. It's like, yeah, you know, you showed me he stemmed out of this larger universe, but his tone is in a different way. It's like, it's almost like he doesn't have the patience for everybody else. You know, it's like he respects that Daredevil does what he does because it's the right thing to do, but he doesn't really... He's kind of like, I get what you're trying to do, but let me know when you grow up. It's kind of how he approaches it. It's like,
so accurate. I love that. Yeah.
And I think that he would feel the same about... I would love to see interaction between him and Danny Rand, just because I feel like it would basically be what I just said. Like, he would probably make fun of him, you know?
Oh,
honestly.
yeah. The whole time. Yeah, I would love to see that. Yeah.
And so with some of the characters, you're like, why don't they contact each other? Like, why don't they ask for help from each other? You face that sometimes in a shared universe, but you're like, you know why Frank Castle doesn't ask anyone for help, because he's like, I don't have the patience for your bullshit. You know what I mean? I got shit going on, and I need to get it taken care of.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, what a cool dude. And it's an interesting thing because another parallel with the MCU, because he spawned out of Daredevil, but then kind of became his own brand, and people already have such like a fascination and an admiration for the Punisher that when you throw him back into the larger universe, you're almost validating everybody else by keeping him in.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's funny because Daredevil, out of all the Netflix characters, it's tough to say who was more historically popular, Daredevil or the Punisher. If you went to the year, say, I don't know, if you polled people in the 2000s who was the more well-known and popular Marvel character, probably Punisher would be the most well-known and popular character. Yeah, even completely. Above Daredevil, honestly.
Well, and if the parallel I was going to make with the MCU is if you did that same poll with Spider-Man versus Iron Man, Spider-Man overwhelmingly would be the result. And I just thought it was really interesting because Spider-Man has always innately just been huge, and he always got the big AAA movie deals and everything like that. And then suddenly the MCU comes into being, and you see it get around to Spider-Man Homecoming, and they have to splash Iron Man on the cover to validate Spider-Man. Yeah. Like being a part of the bigger universe. I was just like, that's crazy to me because like 10 years ago, he was the one that was hot shit.
Well, I think the same thing happened in the 2000s, there were a multitude of bad, let's just say in the past 15 years, there were enough bad Spider-Man movies that you tarnished that character. And the same thing happened with the Punisher. So Daredevil was like, when you brought him into the Marvel Netflix, you were like, we're bringing in a character who fits where he should be, but he's just going to be there. And the fact that Daredevil was successful in season 1 is going to be what's carrying the show.
Right.
You know, and the same thing happened with Spider-Man and Iron Man. So basically, they tarnished Spider-Man, and then Iron Man was successful. And so to reintroduce that once popular character, you have to bring him into the newly popular thing. But but no, it is interesting the way that people's allegiances sort of wax and wane.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to? So the only one I haven't seen in the bunch, because if we're going to bounce on to the next one, is I haven't seen all of Jessica Jones season 2.
Jessica Jones season 2 is interesting, but I think again it suffers from not having a clear-cut villain, a clear-cut and an interesting villain. There's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of different characters, but honestly, I wasn't really super thrilled with where they took it. I thought they did a good job with Jessica Jones, the character. I thought they did a good job with Trish Walker, the character. I thought they even did a really good job with Jerry Hogarth. They did a really nice job with Malcolm. But those are all protagonists to some degree, and the main antagonist turns out to be Jessica Jones' mother. Did you know that? Did you see far enough?
No, again, two episodes. I was 2 episodes in.
Yeah, okay, so, I mean, the main antagonist turns out to be Jessica's mother, and you find out...
Don't spoil it too much. I do really want to see it. Don't spoil it too much.
Well, how am I supposed to do a fucking review of it if I can't even spoil it?
Broad picture, general ideas.
So you find out... Well, let me put it this way. It's not something you find out in episode 10. You find out, around halfway through the season. So then you have an entire half of the season to deal with that and continue on the story after that. So it's not like I ruined the pinnacle moment. It's just the problem is that you end up not having a villain for the second half of the season. And I personally didn't really find her mom super compelling. Maybe she speaks to women more than men, or maybe she speaks to other people more than me. Maybe it's not a gender thing. Honestly, I don't know. I wasn't really super intrigued by the character. I found her, honestly, I found her kind of annoying. And I could see where they were trying to go with it. It didn't really strike me. And the other characters were interesting, but I didn't feel like the underlying foundation for the plot was... I just didn't feel like the underlying... I feel like it started strong, honestly. I'll tell you that. I feel like it started really strongly in the first... I only watched this particular... I've watched all of them up until Punisher at least twice. So I know them really well. Everything Punisher and on I've only seen once. So I'm trying to remember exactly where it was, but I feel like pretty much episode 7 and onwards, the intrigue just wasn't there, you know? Mm-hmm. Or even if I was, hoping and expecting for something more, it kind of just never came. So there was never quite the right hype. Never quite the right hype. That's not the right word. There was never quite the right pinnacle moment. You know, like it's not that I was totally disappointed because there were a lot of intriguing side characters, but I feel like they did a better job of setting up season 3 than they actually did carrying out season 2. Does that make sense?
Yes. Sorry, I feel boring right now. I have nothing to contribute to this conversation.
I'm sorry, and I also feel like a little bit hamstrung because I can't say too much about specifics, but.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk about it a little bit later. But what I did watch was season 2 of Luke Cage, and I think we have very differing opinions on it.
Yeah, we do have some differing opinions. It's true when we chatted about it. Honestly, I loved it. I fucking loved Luke Cage season 2. Luke Cage, the first half of season 1 is hard to beat, but as a whole, for me, season 2 it's better. I disagree. It had moments of like, oh man, cool, but just I don't know. And again, maybe it's just me having super high expectations because I loved the first season and I love the character and everything like that. It just never, for me, it never got, except for like a couple shining moments in the show, it never got the momentum back that it did from the first season. I thought that Bushmaster, oh god, who played him? Mustafa Shakir, I think played him. Mustafa Shakir was the one who played, was the guy who played Cottonmouth. I can't remember what the guy's name who played Bushmaster was.
No, I'm looking it up right now. It's Mustafa Shakir who played Bushmaster.
Really? Did I switch those?
Maybe? I don't know.
Who played Cottonmouth?
I don't know. Cottonmouth. Mahershala Ali.
Oh yeah.
Sorry if I'm butchering these names. I thought he gave a solid fucking performance. He was really cool. I just thought he was a bit of a poor replacement for Cottonmouth, even though he's a lot tougher.
I didn't think that he was as good as Cottonmouth. I'll still say that he's probably my favorite Luke Cage character, hands down. But as a whole season, I liked the season more. I thought they did a good job. I thought that the Stylers were really interesting way to continue on the gang warfare. You know, I feel like it was an interesting way to introduce a character who could stand up to Luke Cage, because that's a hard thing to do when you make that guy so powerful compared to just the average guy. You know, like even Daredevil could get potentially beat up by the average guy if things went the right way, but Luke Cage, it's like you have to be straight up super powered to even have a chance.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, the show's like pacing and theming had me all out of whack from the get. And so here it starts off so great because it starts off he's a Harlem icon. He's all over the place. He's a big face, a superhero without a mask. He's on all these social media platforms. He's hanging out on in ESPN and all that. And that stuff was really cool because it's really refreshing.
I got to give a little shout out to the New York Jets head coach Todd Bowles. He was in there. That was awesome. It made me laugh. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah,
it's awesome. It's refreshing to see that a superhero that wants to be out in the open, that's not like trying to hide his identity or do his work in the shadows. He is a beacon for Harlem, and it's just. And when Bushmaster shows up, their rivalry was really kind of boring to me. It was repetitive, like all of their interactions, because it just seemed like they're having a pissing match of who went through more pain in their life. And so every time they showed up, it would just be that, and then they'd leave, and then they'd come back and be like, no, I suffered more. No, you suffered more. Blah, blah, blah. And it's just a lot of brooding. And,
I get that, but I also kind of like that it's a reflection of I kind of like that it's a reflection of a lot of urban crime is kind of like that. Everyone's got the story about how their life was worse, and that kind of gives them the moral freedom to do bad things. And I really like how they showed Luke Cage going there, because he went from hero to debatably villain.
Yeah. It was just weird because I don't know. I guess it might just be because I'm a fanboy and my impressions of him from all the other like outlets are he's just like such a positive dude, and he was angry. Yeah, he was angry to the point. He was like angry and brooding to the point of like non-recognition. Like, it didn't recognize his character by the end, and Rosario Dawson's character kind of like had so little to do in the series. Like, I feel like she's trying to be a voice of reason, but like Luke is just, no, don't want to listen. No, I just want to be mad.
Well, yeah, I get what they were trying to do. I think that they were trying to say that, trying to show what it's like, I have to be careful here, but I think that it was an intentional portrayal of what it's like to be a black man, and that you feel like you want to be peaceful, but you also feel like you can't at the same time, and that being peaceful takes away your power. I mean, that's just an interpretation from. Well,
that's a good interpretation. I never thought of it like that as much. Well, not with his conflict with Bushmaster. His conflict with Bushmaster was just kind of like I said, it's just a pissing contest. I thought that scenario that you just posed was more like his sort of like as with Mariah Stokes, is that her name?
Yeah. Well, her married name was Mariah Dillard, but
right. And his interactions with her was more to what you were speaking earlier, because like he has that sort of dilemma with her, like giving into the violence. Killing her would definitely make his life so much easier, but he knows that it's like the wrong time and place to do that. And I feel like that if they had focused more on her and gave her more of a central role than adding this other guy, it could have gone a more interesting way. Because that's really, at the end of the day, his weakness is the people of Harlem. The people he's trying to protect and his reputation are really the only things that can be permanently hurt, because he's a bulletproof man, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think the way that I'd like to just leave it is that Luke Cage, the series, is deeply tied to race. And I think that they were trying to portray the dilemma that people of different races are in, and I think I don't want to try and interpret it too much more than that, because it's not something that's necessarily personal to me.
Yeah, that's not our place to speak, and I agree with you. I don't want to.
But I feel like that's what I was seeing from it, and I thought it was interesting that you put someone in a. You take someone who's a hero, and then you put him in the same dilemmas as a regular person. He's not just a white guy who gets to be the hero. Like, he has to deal with all of the other things in life that it definitely is complicated, and I liked what they did with it, honestly.
Yeah. Maybe it was more nuanced. Like, it was there, but it was more nuanced than my primitive brain could understand, or my uneducated brain could understand.
I don't know. I just all I can say is what I took from it, and I thought it was really interesting and intriguing, and I'm very interested to see where it goes from here. And I definitely liked the Iron Fist cameo that they had. And honestly, before the season started, I was really hoping and kind of expecting to have more Danny Rand. I was kind of disappointed that it was only one episode.
Yeah. I would have liked more. I would have liked more Danny. Actually, in that one instance, I would have liked more Danny.
But we'll see. Maybe there will be more of them together in the future. Like, I know that they're playing around with different ideas, so they might do an entire 8-episode series of Heroes for Hire, which I think would be really cool. Maybe they really wanted to stick to a story about Luke Cage for this season instead of bringing in the white guy. So maybe they'll do an actual, instead of doing Defenders where they're all back together, they'll do a Heroes for Hire, or they'll do a Daughters of the Dragon. So we might get more team-up series, but not necessarily Defenders. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that would be cool as hell. Really hope that happens. Shall we wrap it up before we get too long-winded?
I think that's probably necessary.
I mean, it's probably past the point where we got long-winded, but it's never too late.
It's too late.
What? Nope, it's not. I agree to disagree. All right. So my name's Tracey.
Wait.
Come see what?
We didn't play our game at all. We have to play the game.
What? I completely forgot what game we were going to play.
Well, it's okay because I was going to win anyway.
Well, fuck you.
Actually, the game that we're playing today, I'm going to win, but it's not really because of my talent. It's actually because of your talent.
The whistling. Oh, yeah. Okay.
We are playing the Guess That Melody, where we have to whistle a tune from a TV show, a movie, or a video game, and the other person has to guess. But really, the better you are at whistling, the better off the other person is. So because I suck at whistling and Tracy's really good at it, that's going to mean that I'll probably win.
Yeah, he's not wrong. I'm actually a pretty decent whistler. I will give myself that. I really
Tracy,
hope...
try to have a little bit, of just bring it down and hold the ego together, okay? You don't have to compliment yourself so much.
I mean, it's so hard when I'm just so amazing. I'm really hoping I don't blow out our listeners' ears with my whistling. I'm going to try to I'll keep my head away from the mic and keep it from being too shrill. All right, what's the challenge?
The challenge is that on the spot, you're going to come up with a melody from any video game, movie, or TV show, and you're going to do a brief little whistle, and I'm going to try and guess that particular melody, and we'll go back and forth, and we'll do 3 each. Okay.
All right. I should probably aim for a show that you know.
Well, it would probably be good to do that. Yeah.
That would be okay. Okay. How about
Okay. All right. We've got Pirates of the Caribbean.
Nailed it. Yeah, that's the one.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Caribbean. Your turn.
Oh, God, I should have gone first because now I have to follow that up with basically a monotone. I might as well just fart into the microphone.
Please.
All right. Now the real trick is to stop laughing because, as everyone knows, it's impossible to whistle with a smile on your face.
It's pretty difficult.
Shut up, Tracy.
You think it's gonna happen?
All right, we're gonna get there. I swear to God.
Should I just go again?
Sure, go again. Why not?
Okay. Here's a throwback. I will tell you. I don't know if you ever watched this one, but I'll tell you it's from an anime. So here we go.
Oh man, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Something like that. Probably butchering it, but
No, because I recognize the tune. I don't know if I can. No. You can't help. You're not allowed to help that way. It's all about the whistle.
I mean, but my voice is just as good as my whistle, though.
Yeah, that's the point. It's making it easier. You're helping me score points. You need to know.
I love you. Weird.
What? Okay, so what am I missing? What is it?
It's Inuyasha.
Oh my god, I haven't seen that show in probably. Oh my, what is it? 2018. I probably haven't seen that show in close to 20 years.
Yeah, that was one that I watched obsessively when I was younger. That was the anime that got me into other anime. I never, that was even before like DBZ and all that good stuff. I watched Inuyasha, and I
right.
loved that intro.
Okay,
got one for
ready?
me?
Yeah, I got one for you. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Oh, Jesus. My my computer just told me that it's getting really bad feedback. Oh my god. My whistling is so bad that it thinks that the mic is fucking up. Are you still there?
Oh hell, what
Tracey,
is that from?
did I lose you? No.
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
So, my whistling just crashed the computer. I think that's all we need to know. I think the game is over. I think
the game's over. that was the sign.
Yeah, that was about as insulting as it gets for me. So I'm just gonna give up.
What were you trying to whistle? Because I think I know what it was, but
well, then guess.
Because like you're going like. Yeah.
Okay. So you know what I was going for, but I crashed my system. So
I knew the tune you're going for, but I for some reason I can't place it right now.
Oh, really? You don't? So you don't know what it's from?
I do. I swear to God, I know where this is from. Ah, shit. Just tell me.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh my God! Of course it is. Oh, I hate myself. I literally just rewatched the original trilogy.
Yeah, that's surprising. I figured if you got what I was going for, you would definitely know. But anyway, that's funny.
My brain was so planted in anime and sci-fi.
All right, so we give up. I give up. I'm just going to give Tracey the win on that one. Because even though the score was technically 1-0, I think I technically got disqualified by my computer.
Yeah.
So
you did.
So yeah, that is that's our show for this week.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Do quick plug, or you just want to peace out?